Donald Trump still is in the lead in the Republican race, but what's been interesting over the last week or so is that Ted Cruz is really emerging as perhaps the best positioned candidate to stop Trump from getting the nomination. He is hanging with Trump in the delegate count. Actually, the numbers look a little bit closer than I think we expected coming out of Super Tuesday in particular. And Cruz is making the argument that he's the only candidate in this field that can actually beat Donald Trump because he's proven that he's able to do that. And it actually becomes a compelling argument when you have people sitting here looking at how do we stop Trump, and they talk about a brokered convention or a third-party candidate. Really, the best way to beat Trump is to actually beat him in these states and accumulate the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican nomination. This has left someone like Marco Rubio, though, in a really tough spot. Rubio has one option and one option alone, not even to get the nomination, but just to stay in this race, and that's winning his home state of Florida. It's a big state, an expensive state to campaign in, and it carries a lot of delegates. If he can beat Trump there, he has an argument for staying in, but his path is still very unclear. We're about 20 contests in right now, and he's won 2. And you can have moral victories and you can beat expectations, but unless you start to actually win states and pick up the delegates that you would need to eventually become the nominee, you really don't have a rationale for your candidacy. And if you lose in your home state in particular, it really sends a message. The Republicans have grappled for many years with a gap between party leaders and grassroots voters. But usually in presidential elections, these differences get papered over. But it's in this election that we're really seeing the grassroots essentially fight back. They are just tossing aside candidates who are governors and have deep political experience in favor of candidates like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. It's not what the establishment expected. They expected that someone would rise up and be able to go head to head and eventually take out Trump or Cruz. But now the establishment faces this pretty stark prospect, which is that they may actually be the minority. It may no longer be that the hardliners and the Tea Party backers are the minority in the party, that it's them.